The internet is dead. In 2024, bot activity exceeded human activity on the internet for the first time. Most of those bots, for now, are quote-unquote good bots. Automated customer service bots, aggregators, marketing bots, that bot that plays music in Discord. These bots are designed to make life easier for human beings online. The rest, at least a third and rapidly rising, are malicious. These bots test stolen credentials across the web, attack users on social media, perpetrate DDoS attacks, buy up high-value items before people can, and a host of other malicious activities. Bots are a serious problem, and AI is rapidly accelerating their impending dominance of the internet. When it comes to social media, the threat of bots has been well documented. Although social media companies' efforts to remove bots have been lackluster, they at least acknowledge that they should be banned. There's another, perhaps greater threat to the online forum, what has been called cyborg propaganda, a rapidly growing ecosystem of apps that use real people as a proxy for AI-powered information campaigns. These apps live in a gray area, bypassing bot bans while reshaping online spaces from a place where individual ideologies are debated to one where the effectiveness of algorithmic campaigns go head-to-head. In this video, a look at cyborg propaganda, how it influences what we think and believe, and how it's being sold to our politicians. Imagine the Canadian government wants to pass a controversial bill. Online sentiment is increasingly in opposition of the bill. Across the country, thousands of people get a notification on their phone. They open the app, which takes them to a negative post. Within seconds, those users copy and paste an AI-generated response that supports the legislation. Thousands of new comments boost that post, it starts trending, and other users online see a surge in support for the bill, changing their perception on how others view it. All of this mimics spontaneous public support, but in reality, it's a coordinated effort. This is one form of cyborg propaganda, and some version of it has been going on for over 20 years. In the early days of the internet's rollout in China, the Chinese government hired internet commentators to post party-friendly viewpoints on forums and message boards, forming what has since been called the 50 Cent Party. In 2006, the organization Give Israel Your United Support launched an action alert tool on Windows called Megaphone, which allowed users to automatically go to a particular site and answer an online poll in a specific way. Megaphone's developers went on to form Collective, which automated the process of logging in, voting, or commenting on articles and other items online. Collective went public in 2007 with $2 million in startup funding from Sequoia Capital. These more primitive tools followed the same pattern: a call to action from an individual or organization with a specific goal, and an opportunity for individual users to respond, coordinating the dissemination of an idea or opinion as if it were spontaneous and organic. Although occasionally effective, the early internet lacked the coordinated public square necessary for these tools to truly shine. Social media changed that. On social media, if you want to engage in mass influence, you have two options. The first, which has garnered far more media and political attention, is bots. Bot farms played a significant role both in the 2016 Brexit referendum and in the political campaign that led to Donald Trump's 2016 election, and in numerous political campaigns since then. Bots are effective because of sheer numbers, but what they bring in scale, they lack in personality. Whether it be templated or duplicated messages, a substantial number of nearly identical posts in a short amount of time, shallow or non-existent post histories, or limited interactivity, a bot looks like a bot. It doesn't mean they aren't influential. People are fooled by bots all the time, but it limits their effectiveness and authority. It makes them relatively easy to spot and ban. The other option was to mobilize individual people. This could mean paying influencers behind the scenes, which has and continues to happen frequently. Services like Influenceable allow an organization to hire influencers to deliver a certain message, without those influencers having to disclose that what they are saying is paid for by a third party. But over the years, organizations increasingly turned their focus to average users. Act.il began operating in 2017. The app gave its users missions to like, comment on, or share pro-Israel material on social media, or to flag, report, or respond to criticisms of Israel. App users were given tips on how to respond, either through talking points or being asked to like or share a certain pre-written comment or pre-approved meme. The app gamified the process, giving users points, badges, and letting them display their position on the leaderboard. Apps like Act.il came with their own shortcomings. Asking users to write out a personal response every time can be a lot to ask, and the alternative, posting a pre-written comment, risks the same lack of authenticity that bots have, but without the sheer numbers. The rise of generative AI has opened the door for a new era of these apps, ones that have the best of both worlds. Apps like Greenfly, Social Toaster, Victory App, and Golaxy all follow more or less the same formula. Advocates or ambassadors or whatever the app calls their users join the app. Users receive notifications when they are expected to post something, at which point the app takes them directly to where they need to post, presents them with a predetermined piece of media, or has AI generate a unique comment, and within a few clicks, the user posts the content. Users receive some form of reward, in-app currency, badges, whatever it may be to gamify the process. These new apps avoid the pitfalls of bots. They aren't banned. In most countries, you don't have to declare that anything was written with AI, and AI learns how users post on social media. So instead of bots mass reposting the same content, each post is uniquely generated in the user's own voice, making it harder to detect. And unlike bots, the concept of banning this behavior is messy. You're no longer talking about banning a malicious bit of code. Even if the messages are AI generated, they are posted by real people, meaning that banning cyborg propaganda comes up against the wall of censoring free speech. Not to mention that the mass engagement generated by these apps is profitable for social media companies who have an incentive to allow them on their platforms. I want to look at two apps that work very differently but with similar results. One that is raising national security concerns, and one that is being sold directly to our politicians. In 2025, Golaxy, a Chinese AI company, had a number of internal documents leaked. Those documents revealed the company had used massive amounts of data to train AI to impersonate specific individuals to spread misinformation in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and possibly the United States. Their list of digital doubles included American congresspeople and influencers. This is the evolution of bot networks, subtly sowing propaganda in a way that is nearly undetectable. Golaxy's process is automated. Its AI mines social media platforms, builds individual profiles, and then animates them. The documents show one example in which Golaxy's tech worked to minimize opposition to a 2020 national security law in Hong Kong that cracked down on political dissent, identifying what it perceived to be lies or misconceptions about the law, and then posting corrections, with thousands of profiles mimicking humans. Discovery of these documents prompted calls from experts and multiple articles in the New York Times, saying that the new age of digital interference was here, and we all needed to be ready for these new threats to national security. Let's flash forward to January 2026 in Toronto. A number of Canadian political strategists and elected officials gathered in a conference room for the next campaign summit, a conference to help Canadians run better political campaigns, attended by the likes of Doug Ford's campaign manager, Corey Tenecki, and former Liberal leadership candidate Karina Gould. At the summit, an Israeli company, Logivote, presented Victory App. Users sign up for the app to represent a particular political candidate. Victory App's AI then crawls social media looking for posts about that candidate which it perceives to be lies or misconceptions. Then it gives the users a mission, sending them a notification to go to that post and providing them with a unique AI-generated response that corrects the misconception or negative comment. Users copy and paste the response, mimicking authentic human interaction and engagement. The presentation was warmly received by the elected officials and campaign strategists at the conference. Although one of these apps may have a more nefarious goal, the differences are not all that pronounced. Both use AI to mimic humans, although one at least goes through a human proxy. Both identify negative posts and respond to it with mass-produced propaganda. Both blur the line between what is a human being and what is an AI. This is the industrial revolution of misinformation, which also leads further into the idea of a dead internet. If you're not familiar, the dead internet theory was a conspiracy theory that the internet was made up entirely of bots sharing and reacting to each other's content. This is objectively becoming closer to reality every day. When it comes to these cyborg propaganda apps, high engagement content is fed back into the apps to tweak their future messaging, resulting in something called data poisoning. Essentially, AI is increasingly being trained on how to act based on the activity of past AIs, rather than human beings. The biggest bottleneck in this technology is humans. Finding enough humans to recruit is expensive and difficult, which is why apps like Victory App also position their users as datasets. Victory App incentivizes a multi-level marketing type structure, where users report the political leanings of their contacts and are encouraged to recruit them to the app. Critics are concerned about the app collecting this sort of data without direct permission from the individuals, but this provides a cheap way for the app to recruit users. Critics say this technology distorts the marketplace of ideas that is central to democratic thinking. Rather than individuals thinking through and arguing their opinions, individuals speak without thinking, parroting the ideas of a central intelligence with a specific political or social motive. But there are those who think this technology is beneficial, that it democratizes power by pooling the reach of individual citizens. The creators of Victory App say it helps people to participate in the political process by making it easy. Proponents argue the marketplace of ideas is already broken, that algorithms prioritize outrage, paid ads, and influencers, thus drowning out the voice of the average person. By using these tools, true grassroots movements can amplify their voices, like workers unionizing. In the case of authoritarian states, AI trained on censorship guidelines could help dissidents to express opinions without triggering takedowns or arrests. Yet, if grassroots activists can use this technology, couldn't organizations with deep pockets utilize it at a much larger scale? Couldn't authoritarian governments use it to drown out dissidents? Regardless of whether it is positive or negative, cyborg propaganda will change how we communicate and how we view truth. As long as it remains legal, politicians will more than likely be effectively forced to use it, or else be left behind in the arms race for influence. The scale and cost at which institutions and individuals can manipulate opinions is multiplying at rates never before seen, all obscured by the fact that it is nearly impossible to tell if your friend or neighbor is posting their opinion or is copying and pasting an AI-generated message. All of this leads to a further erosion in truth. Social media's algorithmic nature goes hand in hand with escalating uses of cyborg propaganda, as partisan organizations compete for who can best use the technology to disseminate their ideas. Imagine two competing campaigns locked in AI-generated arguments with human proxies, trending on social media for observers who can't tell what is real. It's the dead internet, but with humans as the vessel. The other arms race taking place here is that of cyborg propaganda and the researchers trying to detect it. The same thing has been going on with bots for years. People learn how to detect bots, and they become more sophisticated to avoid detection. Technology that can flag posts that come from a centralized intelligence could help users better navigate social media. Human beings, as the minority on the internet, will have to decide what debate means in that space. Are we arguing to have our ideas heard, or if you can imagine it, even to change someone's mind? Or is the internet simply a place for algorithms and AIs to battle for reach, using humans just to avoid being banned? That's the video. Thanks so much for watching. If you like content like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Special thank you as always to everyone over at Patreon. If you want to support independent Canadian content like this, you can do that over at Patreon. The link is in the description. Thanks so much.